day, and they both looked like they're playing great SC2. So to me, that makes the series even more exciting. We're going to kick it off with the Team Liquid player in the red to the top right-hand side. It is Clem.
And in the bottom left-hand side for Big, it is, you know him, you love him, he's ShoWTimE.
Yeah. Really excited to see what we get out of this. You know Clem's going to bring some amount of aggression. You know ShoWTimE's just going to try and defend, hold on, hit the counters if Clem overcommits. To me, that's the fun between these two. They have such kind of, like, the styles don't match up well against each other in theory, right? Because Clem just wants to attack, ShoWTimE's great at defending. You would think ShoWTimE just comes out on top, but it is just how good Clem is at attacking some of those situations. And yeah, I think ShoWTimE's a good match because we see Clem when he plays like Gung Fu Banta sometimes is a bad match because Gung Fu's great at drawing out the game. But a lot of that is Clem's almost like, oh, I'm the favorite, so I don't want to like throw it away. So he plays a bit too cautiously. He ain't going to play cautiously against ShoWTimE because he knows he has to bring everything he can. So I think that's going to make the difference here when these two match up.
100%. And I mean, Gung Fu against Clem, he had to make a miracle comeback that I don't think it was a little bit of a blunder where Clem was so far ahead that I feel like he felt like he could just attack. You don't do that against ShoWTimE either, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that this is a very different match in that regard. And yeah, I would say they match up so differently that they match up perfectly against each other. It's the kind of thing that we want, right? The sharpest sword against the strongest shield is I think, a good way to look at it because, yeah, it should be action coming at us nonstop, just mostly from one side until ShoWTimE's ready to punch back.
Yeah. Let's see, I mean, ShoWTimE got a little bit feisty against Skillus as well, right? You know?
Oh!
Just dogging up one game as well. Losing SCV.
Yeah, almost lost an SCV. They're really good readjustment there from Clem as the SCV was mining as well. So there's a little bit of an animation to stop mining and move around or move away. Good job from ShoWTimE for trying. He knew his probe was dead in any case, as he is likely to move out with this Adept with a shield battery producing in the main.
Yep.
Good shit here.
Really nice. Jay just going to intercept that Reaper immediately as it shows up. It gets pushed back away. No opportunity.
A second one, though. Second Reaper and a Hellion. That was kind of nice, isn't it?
That Reaper's dead, though.
Yeah.
So we lose a Reaper. That's a really good pickoff. I mean, especially if you then go second Reaper as well, because that's just like, well, one Reaper and a Hellion doesn't seem as scary, you know? And another one.
Yeah, it was a 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion Harass, very similar to what we see in TVT oftentimes. And we've seen Clem mix this in, and sometimes he hits with 2 Reapers and a Hellion, sometimes he hits with more than that, sometimes just 2 Hellions or something of the sorts. But he really likes going for the probe line early on, so killing one of those Reapers this early, if there's a player that you want to do it to, it's Clem more than anyone else. And another one goes down, the next one is not going to be able to be taken down, but actually has to retreat onto his high ground. Very smart there from Clem. So ShoWTimE will lose track of that. He knows that there's 2 Hellions on the way. He's not going to be able to wall in time, surely. So Clem should be able to get in here. Let's see how much damage he can do, as one of the Hellions is already very bruised up. The Oracle's going to have to activate to save his mineral line, but save his mineral line effectively he will.
Yep, shuts down the Hellions. We lost a probe. Not really the end of the world. And it definitely feels decent for ShoWTimE, who's currently camping out in the ramp. Clem doesn't really have many units left over, and yeah, just...
Does he cancel the SCV?
It's decent for now.
No, he's gonna let that SCV finish. That might be an SCV dead in the natural... Oh, did he cancel it?
He might. I didn't say, actually.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, wonderful for ShoWTimE, I think. Is he just letting it die? I mean, he has another SCV in the natural here, but now he will be able to protect it and evacuate the SCV with a medevac if need be.
Yeah, I guess the Widow Mine there as well. Just 2 Adepts wanting to try and poke forward and see if they can get something done. Trying to get an SCV. Obviously, they need 2 shots on it. They still don't find one. Oh my goodness. These Adepts,
so close.
Get lucky. Yeah.
So very close. I almost want to shade one of those Adepts forward with 3 bruised SCVs. Yeah. You just drag fire onto the mine with them. That would be good.
The Oracle like flanks as well, right? Stays out of range of stays out of range of the mine and just hits like each SCV that's low as it comes to the middle.
Yeah,
could be cool as well.
Yeah, in conjunction with the Adept, that could have been really cool. But we know, I mean, ShoWTimE is pretty happy probably with the damage that he did. He's not usually, he is very good at micro and identify, but he doesn't take that sort of risk usually, right? Because it does feel like there's a little bit of uncertainty going into that type of move. Much more likely for a player like Clem to just kind of dig himself into that chaos where you don't know exactly what's going to happen and then work his way through it. ShoWTimE will prefer just the safety of being organized and clean, and that's exactly what we're seeing here as he situates his third.
Yep, it really is, as he just gets into that charge straight away off the Twilight Council as well. Robo Bay, no hesitation. He knows where he wants to get to in terms of tech this game. He's going to be well on his way there by the time Clem shows up with the stim combat and +1 attack.
Yeah, will he be able to have the pieces that he needs? No Immortal on the way yet. There is a Robo out. There is, of course, an Observer being produced first. So we'll see if there's an Immortal or we just wait for that Robotics Bay to finish and then go straight into Colossus, which is the most likely piece at this stage of the game. I love the Immortal, especially against Clem, right? He likes these tank pushes, he likes Marauder pushes. So, yeah, I think an Immortal to protect your third before going into Colossus, really strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Just really buffs up the army, right? Really gets so much done. Yeah, I like it a lot. Makes a lot of sense, like you say, and well, Clem is going to start pushing, so it's exactly what you want the Immortal for. Nice revelation, tracking this army. ShoWTimE not going to let that slip out of his vision, so he knows where Clem is at any point in time so far. It's obviously
beautiful.
Very nice.
Look at that perimeter as well. He knows where Clem is coming from every angle, but he is going to lose 2 pylons here potentially. I mean, this Phoenix can punish the medevac, but ShoWTimE doesn't want to be on that side of the map, so he's just going to let the pylons fall in favor of holding on this side, and Clem is just going to be happy, or have to be content, I guess, with killing 2 pylons, which isn't nothing. But yeah, well done by ShoWTimE, who is still poking and prodding to see if that medevac will try to venture into the main. The Phoenix are going to keep him safe for the time being. Beautiful pick up there to save the mine at the last second.
Yep, nice job so far. Just going to see Clem still trying to find a bit of pressure here, it would seem, at the front. See if he can get anything done. That Colossus needs to make sure he doesn't walk down into trouble, of course. And
troublesome. Yeah, trouble position. It's a really scary position, right? He's so close to the mines as well. There is a very narrow area that the Colossus can walk there, as a few too many zealots are going to take damage there from the mine unnecessarily somewhat. The Oracle, I believe, just fall to the bio as well, as ShoWTimE was preoccupied clearing the Widow mines.
Absolutely, man. Actually, kind of a wild game as Clem. Yeah, doesn't get any attacks off, doesn't get any, commitments, but still kind of playing like, on the line. So many opportunities presenting themselves, but not quite being grabbed. Very exciting as we just wait to see when a big fight might break out. ShoWTimE obviously sitting comfortably in terms of work count and so on for the moment, so we'll be feeling good about that at the very least. Currently 71 probes to the 57 SCVs. Very nice.
Very, very nice. I mean, Clem, as we would expect in this particular matchup, and the players in the way that they match up against each other, gonna have map control, gonna be out on the map. But ShoWTimE, he has absorbed. He is a sponge, and he has taken Clem's aggression to the face and done a good job at defending that. However, we'll lose the Oracle now this time around.
Yeah, just nice to get rid of the Oracle. It just removes so much map control, right? Map control is one thing that ShoWTimE has put a lot of investment into. This probe, pylons around the map, just like you said before, a perimeter around his base to make sure he is safe, because you do not want Clem to get the first drop off without you knowing, because you know for a fact that after, everything just falls apart. I mean, we lose a Phoenix, but we clean this up. I think that's kind of okay.
Yeah, I mean, props to Clem for getting some value out of it, right? Focus firing the Phoenix, stimming as fast as he does, and he knows that he can't get away. So just take what you can with you to the grave. But yeah, Clem, I mean, all that having been said, he did a great job of clearing the perimeter, right? So it's kind of now on ShoWTimE to do his own cleanup duty, and now that he has a little bit of time, gets rid of that medevac, and feels a little more comfortable to go out on the map himself. This is a nasty corner for the Protoss, but at the same time, the army is so much bigger than Clem's that Clem's just gonna have to run away, as some of the army in the back will get picked up by the Phoenix, forcing the engagement. Clem does not want this. He's gonna have to run back. These mines need to burrow as they will in the back at the choke, but good trades from ShoWTimE as Clem retreats to safety. Nice night.
Yeah, nicely done. A couple of Phoenix still going down. Yeah, nice from Clem to be able to cut that count down, as we do see him even kind of excited to bring his army back forward again. It seemed like for a moment. ShoWTimE's going to go up the left, and Clem is very ready to kind of meet him up on this top side. So extra ghosts coming out, more Vikings pouring into play. You have the armory finishing up. The command center is about to finish. Clem's ready in for fourth base, but and just kind of late a game. But ShoWTimE might be looking to attack right here. He's going to go down this round. This is scary, cast. There's so many EMPs available. If the EMPs are good, the mines are good. This is going to be bad. The Vikings go to work on the Colossi.
They were good. They were good indeed. And the Celos buffer is going to kind of thin out to where ShoWTimE, yes, he can take an engagement on the bottom side of the ramp, but he's still going to push the issue forward. Good EMPs onto the Archons. They're going to melt. And now ShoWTimE on the retreat. Vikings still left over. I'm surprised he went up the ramp. Now the Celo reinforcements are going to try to do something to shield this Colossus, but the mines are all to reload as well. This Raptor shot is going to catch a handful of SCVs. But oh my god, this was just a masterful defense from Clem and perhaps a little bit of an overcommitment up the ramp from ShoWTimE.
Yeah, I just don't know what ShoWTimE was thinking. I felt like the first fight was bad. And then he was like, huh, this was so bad, I liked it. I'm going to do more of it. Yeah, he just doubled down on attacking it. And I guess he's just stuck on the idea, right? He's like, oh yeah, I want to attack. He's like, oh, it didn't start well, but I still want to attack you. He didn't really reassess the situation. He just stuck with his initial feeling.
Yeah, it's that, and also that you already paid the taxes. You already got hit by the mines. So it's like, okay, like, you know, if I retreat, I just got hit by the mines and I just took losses for nothing. So now is an opportunity, but I completely agree with you. I mean, up the ramp, you may as well just, you know, you're taking double disadvantages now stacking up against each other. So yeah, I think a little bit of tunnel vision perhaps, but yeah, I mean, there is some logic to it, right? Like, it's like the mines are off. We know the mines are off at least. I don't have an observer. If I'm going to attack ever, it has to be in this timing window and not able to convert.
So I've learned, Cats, is if you have to pay taxes, don't pay more taxes than you need to pay.
That is true. That is very true. Yeah. The Taxman is one of my favorite songs by the Beatles, since we are an all UK cast today.
All UK.
All UK. All UK, mate. What? You know, my UK accent, yeah, I always get told that's not UK from UK people. It's like, that's Australian. Then the Australians tell me that's not Australian. That's got to be UK or something of the sort. No one wants it.
It's just out in the middle of the sea somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know where it is.
Okay, Cats, it can be UK in my eyes if it makes you feel better.
Thank you. Yeah, there's many regions in the UK I've learned. So
yeah.
I can just say, you know, I can just ask the person that I'm talking to where they're from and just say, oh, I'm from the complete opposite side. So
yeah, probably true, to be fair.
Yeah.
All right, bottom right base cancelled. So, I mean, Clem, off the back of that great fight, just has so much map control, and he is making full use of it, denying a base, keeping ShoWTimE pinned on 4 while he's on his own 4, but setting up into more. And yeah, the Disruptor's going to be tough to attack into and break, but Clem doesn't need to break. He just needs to contain a little while. And again, he's doing a fantastic job of that as he finds a Disruptor. Nice EMP to initiate. And,
yeah, that was so gorgeous. I mean, EMP into a one-shot of the Disruptor. Here, the Mines are going to do a little bit of work on the Zealots, but there's not nearly enough. Still, Clem manages to load all but a couple of units back into the medevacs to continue the harassment onto ShoWTimE's main base, where he's going to be warping in. He has a cannon and a shield battery somewhere there, I think, to anchor. So that is nice. The Force Stalker's getting a little bit daring, making sure that the medevacs cannot attack by taking them down as early as possible. So beautiful move from ShoWTimE, right? Like, he knows his army is coming, so he just wants to keep Clem engaged there. So blinks into what looks like otherwise an unfavorable position, unless you know the rest of your army is coming for the cleanup regardless. This is Raptor. Actually thought he could find the ghost. Now, in case, shield battery overcharge being popped here as ShoWTimE repositions to defend.
Yep, it's just the Bioforce of Clem escaping up the left-hand side. I mean, ShoWTimE holding on. It just feels the Clem, if he can get this base up especially, he knows this attack is coming in. If he cleans that out, he feels like getting that 5th base up is going to be key for him. Now, ShoWTimE knows that Clem's likely going to be off over this way trying to defend, and says, well, what if I go through the center and attack? And he's going to do just that. Has to go through a mine, and that mine just slowed him down that little bit.
So much. Yeah, double slowdown, right? You back away from the mine after taking a shot, and then you need to wait for the Disruptor shot also to go off before continuing to move in. And it was pivotal for him to move in that timing window because, like you said, he knew that the army of Clem was preoccupied in the top left-hand side. So now breaks the rock. Still going to find a very strong opening here. Clem unaware and out of position. That means the CC is going to fall. A lot of the SCVs as well. And you don't want to go up this ramp with Disruptors. So Clem is going to have to forfeit this position. I'm not sure why he's trying to reclaim it even. Maybe he's just trying to prevent from ShoWTimE from continuing to advance. And ShoWTimE is indeed going to try to continue to advance. So Clem had the right idea, but Unsiege is at the wrong point. And now the Disruptors are kind of going off everywhere. It's not going to be enough. Clem, with splits as good as the space that he is playing with allows, will be able to turn things around for the time being. The medevacs are now out of energy, so he's kind of struggling. But the Stalkers, they don't have a lot of shields or HP left. And wow, What an exchange there.
Wow, Clem's belief in being able to snipe down the disruptors, he just knows, like, if I don't kill the disruptors in this moment, I'm dead anyways. So he just makes some crazy plays, scans bottom right, knows there's still no 5th base. So it's kind of a scan which says, hey, how bad of a position am I in? Oh, 4 base versus 4 still? Actually, I'm okay. I've got a replacement 5th of my own. It's on its way over. This really wasn't so bad. He lost so much. ShoWTimE lost so much army here making this happen. And yeah, Clem's just going to recover from it, no issue. Liberator count increasing as well. It was a great jump from ShoWTimE, got the heads up, and honestly had Clem in the corner, but then Clem just had the power to break through, and I think ShoWTimE was just missing 1 or 2 more disruptor shots to keep Clem back for those extra few moments.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not a bad position to take a fight either if you're ShoWTimE. If you're going up against any other Terran in the world, perhaps maybe short of Maru, right? Like, it was just insane splits from Clem.
Yeah.
And it is ShoWTimE. He is going down the ramp, right? But he does get the surprise element. I mean, the Liberators were unsieged. I really can barely, if at all, fault him for that. But I think that it's worth noting that it's been 2 moves like this where he gets the position, he gets what he came from, and then continues on forward that has costed him, right? Because if he just keeps the advantage that he got from killing that base and moves on elsewhere, he is moving around with an advantage, or at least in a slightly more favorable position. So I still, yeah, difficult to call it an overcommitment, because when I look at that fight, you know, I would take it, and I would think that I'm gonna hit something with my disruptors, and he hits a little bit, but Clem's just absurd.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be seeing, honestly, ShoWTimE's army very mobile, and right now is being continuing to move around, putting Clem into some pressure. Clem trying to utilize the libs. He's going to dive for the disruptors. The EMP helps. He needed the EMP, and it actually makes the world of difference. All of a sudden, the entire army of ShoWTimE is dying. He blinks the other way to get into Liberator range. We can hit the EMP on the TTs as well instantly, and ShoWTimE gets melted, absolutely destroyed in a... And if I honestly didn't even think it was bad for him, and he gets annihilated.
That was beautiful from ShoWTimE, because he identifies what's coming. He has only 3 disruptor shots, and he fires 2 at once to make sure that 1 goes off. And yet still Clem finds, like you said, the EMP for the added damage and the split damage onto both disruptors to take him down simultaneously, and prevents both shots from going on. So yeah, and I mean, never mind, you know, a disruptor snipe. That was 2 simultaneous with not even that big of an army, right? So I mean, just incredible from Clem, and yeah, heart-shattering for ShoWTimE. I would have expected that one of those would have landed for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be, at this point, seemingly looking more and more so like Clem's game number 1. And when Clem wins a game like this, you've got to feel pretty bad at ShoWTimE, because I feel like this is the kind of game you kind of wanted to play in a way, right? It's a longer game. It wasn't an early game that was great for Clem or anything. And here Clem is looking to take the 1-game lead in the best of 5. Sort of short clips at Viking, but yeah, Clem's attacking on the left side as well. I don't think that base has any real defense to it. Oh, yeah, a couple DTs. That's not going to do it at all, not to save the Nexus at least. So Clem will get rid of this as the DTs blink forward. Took a little bit more effort than I thought it was going to be, but gets there in the end.
Yeah, it's looking very dire for ShoWTimE here, as he's still trying to continue to make something happen, maybe with a disruptor shot. We got to keep an eye on those disruptors. They are really the last hope for ShoWTimE here as he moves across the map. Esther did... Okay, there they are. I was going to say, and I mean, this is not going to pan out either. Clem already pre-pulling the SCV, so ShoWTimE's going to have to back away with a more bruised army than before. Clem repositions here to answer, and this is a good position to launch an attack. He's already launched an attack at the same time in the south here, and he's going to get that base easily. ShoWTimE quickly running out of options.
Yeah, running out of space to play, basically, running out of money. And Clem has already had that massive army supply lead with the Liberators. Starting to just get set up to just really corner ShoWTimE into his own bases. ShoWTimE will make an effort to go across the map. The disruptor shots are good. Even those might not be enough as he is clearing out bottom right-hand side. Oh my goodness, what is going on, Clem? This was maybe not quite the dive you were looking for, but ShoWTimE types GG anyway. I thought that was a little closer, but okay. Clem takes the 1-0 lead in this best of 5.
I'm phased this time around. So yeah, a brilliant game from him, maybe up until that very end, right, where he actually takes some disruptor shots to the face, but he was so far ahead at that point that it did not matter. The game ends with him still 65 or so supply ahead, in spite of disruptors killing as much as they did there. So yeah, a little bit tough for ShoWTimE. I think he had his moments. I think he had his style pan out well. I think he had good counter offense, and yeah, unfortunately, a couple of perhaps overcommitments in retrospect will cost him his advantages and the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got a Cosmic Sapphire for map 2. Another larger map, definitely one you can expect a longer game on, potentially a lot more of that back and forth left and right. I was going to say, this definitely feels more like a ShoWTimE pick as well. So, ShoWTimE's first map pick of the series to try and even out things. And it just feels rough, though, because if Clem plays like he just did, it feels so tough to stop.
It is so tough to stop. And yeah, larger maps, there's going to be the issue, I guess, of the larger rush distance, where it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get aggressive super early on, right? Like maybe like we've talked about, like Clem likes his Reapers and Hellions, but those units are pretty fast still. So it's going to be a relatively small difference. Those units are still extremely mobile. And come the later stages, the map is pretty wide open. It is not hard to split though, right? It is a large distance in the middle there. So yeah, I think there should be some room for ShoWTimE to breathe here and maybe make something happen.
Well, let's find out as we get into game number 2 on Cosmic Sapphire. Clem takes the 1-0 lead, looking to try and TVZ his way tomorrow to another European Regional Championship. While ShoWTimE will be looking to get there. Of course, Cyril and Raynor in the way between these guys, whoever wins and the championship. Tomorrow's bound to be good, but today ain't done yet. As in the bottom right-hand side, up 1-0. This is Team Liquid's Clan.
And trailing, it is going to be Big's ShoWTimE. Big's logo, of course, is a bear paw. Is there many bears in Germany? In Berlin? Yeah.
I mean, can't there have been a Berlin a lot? Most of my time in Germany spent in Krefeld, but there's definitely no bears in Krefeld, I can tell you that much for sure.
Yeah, and I never quite understood either the horse as the Team Liquid logo. I feel like Nazgul was just young, but it worked out. I'm gonna name my team Team Liquid. You choose the logo, partner. Okay, I like horses. It's like what?
Yeah, I never really questioned that, actually.
Yeah.
It's just natural that's a horse.
Right, yeah. Duh. Obviously, it's a horse.
Of course it is. It's Team Liquid. Well, what else would it be? A wave?
Yeah, certainly not.
A wave of water?
Actually, there's a little bit of rebranding going on with them. Well, not rebranding per se, but they are adding the wave into the name, right? Like a wave of one was some marketing campaign that they engaged on. So that's good. I think it's better communication than the initial intent. But again, it worked out. Team Liquid, of course, one of the strongest, biggest teams in all of these sports, with their starts in StarCraft 1 and then 2. So always gotta cheer for them. Let's see this game, though.
Yeah, this game is taking a few moments to get set up, right? It's not too crazy to start. It's just expansion, so nothing too wild. And obviously, Clem this time especially is just not expanding as late as last game. Last game, we went factory first. It isn't like super crazy. It's very common nowadays, but it is worth knowing, right? That you're basically playing for a bit more aggression early. This time, Clem's happy to just play a bit more of a normal opening and just kind of maybe like a Widow Mine drop or so, set some kind of normal pressure on, and just have his own expansion up at a good time. Nice kill on the probe. No! Get on the refine.
That would have been so cute. Yeah, unable to get it, but that would have been a second probe for the Reaper. That would have been nuts.
Yeah.
Especially not this large.
It would be really nuts. As the Twilight Council is the choice from ShoWTimE, so he's going to play Twilight, scouted immediately, and that means he's not going to have a Stargate on the opening this time around as well, which I always feel like is a little scary against Clem because, Stargate can be so good defensively. It's good to know what sort of trickery he's up to, where he's up to. But obviously, playing into the blink and taking map control that way can also be very effective. I imagine that's ShoWTimE's plan.
Yeah, and for the side of Clem, I mean, we see this proxy starport. Do you recommend it's going to be a medevac? Because, I mean, usually you would position the starport to go into the main, I guess, but it's still going to bypass nicely in the natural and maybe be more unexpected from this position.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things Clem does a lot. He's not always proxying on the same side of the map because then it's just easier to spot. And people know he likes doing this kind of 4 Hellion drop with the proxied starport. So why be predictable? If you build it on both sides, it gives your opponent that research you 2 places to scout. And it's just as good in the natural, right? You get past an initial wall off, your opponent probably feels safe on the natural because you've got a wall off in 1 unit. So actually, a lot of the time, you actually find more in the natural. And at the point it hits that, it's not like there's no probes on the natural either.
Right. Yeah, you're very right. I mean, it's very nearly saturated. However, the third is going to be on the way, and that will allow potentially for ShoWTimE to scout. But Clem's going to spot the third, so maybe there's a way to bypass this. Nope, he's just going to go straight into the natural. Hey, hello, I am me, and I am going, and you can see me. There's going to be one stalker there, but it's not going to be quickly enough. He's going to completely bypass the wall, like you were saying. The first shot is brilliant as he gets 3 workers with it, and now continuing on with the aggression, it's going to be 9 with 3 more. Very, very low there. A lot of the 13, every worker just about in natural, and still with 3 Helions. He's going to be brave enough to go into the main, still one-shotting probes left and right. This might be an early GG, the earliest all-day wordy, as this is looking absolutely nasty.
Even some micro to keep the Hellions alive for an extra shot, just because, 21 workers wouldn't have been nice enough. Cats 22 sounds so much better.
Yeesh.
Yeah, that's a... I mean, that's just brutal. There's one of those scenarios as well. You saw ShoWTimE with the Stalker at the left-hand side. So that was one Stalker that wasn't in position to help initially as well. And yeah, and I mean, now what? Clem just has a defense. Don't imagine these Stalkers will find much on the other side. He's down 17 workers. In a matchup where you're meant to be ahead in workers as the Protoss player, this should just be undefendable 2 or 3 minutes down the line when Clem hits with Stim and Marines and tanks.
This should be it, right? Like, he should try and then fail.
Try and then leave,
leave the game, yeah. Probably what we're gonna see here. Deflected here at the front.
Makes sense.
Dark Shrine, okay. I like it. Still maintaining perfect posture, by the way. Not really seeming phased at all.
I think it's so bad. You don't even get upset. You're just like, yeah. I know how bad it is. Like, I'm already accepting the loss. Can't even get upset about it, right? Like, just like, yeah, it's just done.
Yeah, I mean, that's a shame. Poor ShoWTimE here. But it's good to see he keeps his composure regardless. He did open his mouth just now to maybe let a word slip, but he's gonna come in here, nothing to see there, and yeah, he is gonna tap out respectively. So I'm not sure if he saw a turret as well or what made him think there's no chance for the DTs to work. But I think he was already in the same mindset that we were, right? Like, after losing the probes, just gotta try to see if your attack can find anything to try to equalize or bring the game a little bit closer, and if not, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Man, Clem loves that build, and he just absolutely popped off with it, didn't he? Gets a lot of damage done as ShoWTimE's map pick disappeared, and now Clem on one of his map picks, Data C, for map 3, and obviously a lot of momentum on his side. A 2-0 lead. Maybe I cursed it saying that these guys always give us good games repeatedly, because now, I guess first game was obviously good, but it's not quite been back and forth yet in the series, right? With Clem up 2-0. Time for ShoWTimE to make a stand, bounce back, come in strong, try and get this W, and try and keep this series going for him, because well, top 4 is obviously the main goal for someone like ShoWTimE in this event, right? You come in, you say, if I can get top 4, I get my trip to Atlanta, that's brilliant. We know he wants to go further. We know he's probably sick of just getting top 4. He'd love to make a top 3. He'd love to make a run to the finals in one of these DreamHack events. So let's see if he can start turning around. He's very capable of taking down Clem, but so far it's just not been his series.
It just hasn't been, and now we're going on Data C, which you may or may not know, Wordy, is a pun.
Cats, I know. I'm very aware. Someone told me to this when we did like the TLMC testing of this map, and I was like, "Oh, that's funny."
Someone told you already? Okay.
This is like literally way back when, like a year before it was in the map pool. I was like, "Oh, that's kind of funny." I said it a couple of times, like, "Ha ha ha," and it came onto the ladder, and I was like, I said it like one time, and then every time I was like, "Hey, what do you know? This map's got like a funny thing." I'm like, "Yeah, actually, I've been telling this joke for about a year now, guys." I'm like, "Whoa, no way! It's so funny." Like,
yeah, it's like Fear Dragon introduced it to me. I didn't get it at first, and when I got it, I wish I didn't get it. And then then I shared it with Nate, and Nate and I in the chat, we've been equally apprehensive. We're not big fans of this pun, but I'm glad that some people do appreciate it, as we are here on Data C. And who lives in a pineapple here? It's gotta be Clem.
It's a very clever map game, to be honest. Like, very good. I was really impressed when I first heard it.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's really smart. I think it's really clever.
That's clever, yeah. For sure, yeah.
I appreciate it, but better than some map names we've had in the past. Some of them have been intriguing, to say the least. Top right, before our observer gets tired of waiting, it is going to be ShoWTimE. Down 2, needs to win. I think there's been some really bad map names in the past, no?
What's the worst that you can think of?
Nothing off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's difficult to misname a map, I feel.
You think? I think the problem is a lot of the ones that are badly misnamed get renamed before they come onto the ladder.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, I
It's
see a lot
you
of
know what
that
it
in
is? I
content.
think I'm thinking of a lot of the ones that just never made it, and I've like done like map tournaments, and I'm just like, I am
Yeah.
sick of saying this map name. It makes
TLNC
no sense.
judgment. Yeah.
Oh, how about
Jagannatha. Jagannatha.
Jagannatha? Well, that just caused conversation. There's the one that was called Back Gesicht.
What?
Yeah, you remember Redshift?
Yeah.
The one with the gold bases that looked at each other?
I mean, I remember the name of the map, and I'm sure I would remember.
Yeah.
it,
So
but
it was really dumb. It had like an in-base gold that like pointed at each other. So like it was like super short. It was a terrible
I
map.
see.
It was called Redshift on the ladder, but it was originally called Back Gesicht, which means,
Yeah, that is
in
terrible.
translated, a face in need of a fist.
That is
And-
interesting.
And it was definitely meaning that the map was terrible, but it made the ladder. So what can we really?
Really, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow,
it was bad, man. Not a fun one.
that's incredible. This SCV will get taken down, as Clem will surely just cancel this eBay. It did force a sell-out. However, on the other side of the map, it's ShoWTimE who is looking to get aggressive this time, and you love to see the change of pace, especially when you are down in a series. The only problem with this sort of strategy when you are down 0-2 in a series is that it becomes a little bit more expected, right? Because as a player, it's very easy to want a way back into the series, and 3 games feels like an overwhelming task. So you kind of just want a quick one. You want to reset. You want to get a cheeky victory, or at least a cheeky advantage that makes you feel like you stand a chance. So I don't blame ShoWTimE for this at all. But yeah, I feel like it is a little bit more predictable in a game number 3.
So we've been informed that the Team Liquid logo is because the original Team Liquid banner had horses on it. Now,
It did. But yeah,
now-
like why?
I mean, that's a great explanation until you ask yourself, why did the banner have horses
Right.
on it?
Yeah, like I remember the banner. Yeah, you know that was not an oversight. Only it's the exact same problem that you ran into. Yeah. Because horses are blue and liquid is blue, except horses are not blue, except for on that banner. I guess they were like white.
Okay,
with
here we
the
go.
blue.
It's from the Lord of the Rings scene where the horses wash the ring wraiths away. Brackets, horses made of liquid.
What was made of liquid? Horses made of liquid?
The horses were made of... I don't know, man. I
Okay,
haven't
I
watched
mean,
Lord of
that's-
the Rings.
Really?
No.
But you're from the UK.
Yeah? I also don't watch football. Like,
Employing Team Liquid logic there. But yeah, I mean, this oracle will mostly get deflected. Only gets 3 SCVs there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I could see it maybe if it is a Lord of the Rings reference. I mean, Nazgul is obviously the owner and the
yeah,
initial
you know
founder.
what? It makes a lot more sense than we're giving it credit for. We're just not smart enough to get it, cuts. That's all.
I guess that's what it is, yeah.
We're the problem.
We
Like-
are the problem indeed, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't get that? Who wouldn't know that, right?
Yeah,
off
he
the bat?
wouldn't
You look
know
at the
that,
logo,
obviously.
you look at the logo, you're like, yeah, liquid, just like the
Yeah.
liquid horses in
Yeah,
that
like,
one
yeah.
scene of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
I don't even
exactly.
remember the scene, to be honest, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe you can't remember the scene. It's unforgettable.
Mm-hmm. Love to see it. There's a band of Marines here, moving across the map. Not sure what they what they want to accomplish here. It seems a little bit dangerous, especially after having deflected the Oracle as well as he did.
Mhm.
ShoWTimE might go to meet him there. He's not even holding the bushes. ShoWTimE's gonna see him first, but doesn't react right away to hold behind the bushes. So that gives him a little bit of room here. Okay, he does have Stim Clem, so he is gonna chase down one of the stalkers, the Adept, and very likely the Zealot here soon to follow. So ShoWTimE choosing not to engage, and that was a very good trade for the Stim Marines. I was scared for their lives, but Clem very confidently
Oh.
going forward.
Yeah, I thought ShoWTimE might start blinking to chase a little bit, actually, because, like, the Marines aren't that healthy to continue.
Oh,
Oh,
nice
one
play.
Marine. Oh, we're actually going to turn around for a moment there as the medevacs show up. Good that the only single Marine got caught in the stasis. That could have been really bad otherwise.
Yeah.
As Clem gets away, and I feel like this has worked out pretty darn good for Clem yet again.
Yeah, for sure. Not too bad at all. He's not going to be too sad. At least ShoWTimE is not out of this game. It's 45 workers to the 38. Of course, the Oracle does do a little bit of damage there. So ShoWTimE will be able to scale okay into the mid game here. Let's he's now going to be retreating with his Blink Stalkers. He has a little bit of map control with those. And aside from the Oracle opening with the proxy, I mean, this is kind of like the most standard follow-up from ShoWTimE.
Yeah, it's really not that crazy, right? Proxy Oracle, but beyond that, it's just, Stalkers, Zealots. I get that Robo up, and we'll see just how quickly he drops a Robo Bay down. But of course, it could just be for Prism and just to stick on this Stalker Zealot and really start going in multiple places for as long as possible, right? So there's definitely a possibility at the moment. As we do see, the Widowmine.
Gotta be careful. He does have 3 gases, so I would love to see a little bit more tech. He is taking a third, however. So there's gonna be the Robo Bay now coming down as well as 2 sentries to spend some of that gas. And he knows where the army of Clem is, so he's gonna blink into the main. But there is a Widowmine, a little bit of a bait waiting for him, or a little bit of an insurance bullet perhaps from Clem. Clem almost losing that medevac. ShoWTimE not really focused firing, so 3 Marines will get to unload. The Widowmines are nicely dodged towards the tail end, and he will use the distance that he creates with the blink to try and just evacuate. ShoWTimE does. So yeah,
that medevac, man. He was like, oh, I'm just going to instantly lift and boost into the main. And the Stalker was like, no, you don't. And Clem was like, oh, but now you won't expect it. And he went in a second. I was like, no, stop. He did manage to unload. What a hectic little moment or two. Is kind of worried, though. I feel like ShoWTimE is losing a good amount of units. He's just going to save this Oracle. If Clem can get across the map, maybe there's some possibility, though. I guess we've got charge lots up now. And we do know charge lots typically are very, very good at keeping the bio army at bay.
That is very, very true, especially in small numbers like this. The surface area is going to work in favor of the charge plots. Widowmines from Clem are going to be deflected from ShoWTimE very nicely. Colossus, the first one in production, but not yet out. That's going to be the most important piece against these bio balls. The mines are going to, I thought, going to burrow unsuspectingly, but ShoWTimE was paying attention. Only a couple of probes will go down, but Clem is continuing to forge his way into here, and that is a lot of Stalkers falling, yeah.
Yeah, Stalkers are so expensive to replace as well. They're one of the units you don't want to have to rebuild, but you have to rebuild some, because otherwise you got no anti-air to stop the medevacs and the drop play. And obviously ShoWTimE losing a few probes there as well. He's now equal on workers, so really not quite where he wants to be in terms of worker count. 54 to 56, Clem taking a lead. And there is the rebuild into Stalkers, and that just slows down so much of the future tech as well, having to rebuild Stalkers. Because like I say, they're expensive. You'd like to build the first round that you have map control with, and then just not have to rebuild them for a long time at least.
Yeah, because they don't scale that well either, right? Yeah. Oh, he canceled the Colossus?
Yeah, number 2.
Oh, that's rough. What do you think in favor of? Just because he's broke? He wants to make probes?
Yeah, I guess just units. Maybe get the +1 started. Yeah, I'm not sure. I kind of like the fact he was going to have more Colossi, honestly.
Yeah, it does feel like those Robo units can kind of turn things around more so than, the investment into other things. Maybe he did it for probes.
Maybe because he has no range. So if he doesn't have range, he feels like, and he couldn't afford range, he's like, well, is it really worth building? And now he's going to go back into it, now you can start range as well.
Okay. Yeah, that is a very good point, actually. So maybe felt like he was under a little bit of pressure, and that was double the investment, basically, with the range of the Colossus. Now opting to get some more cannons to try and defend against future Widowmine attacks. Good vision here from ShoWTimE, but the Oracle will fall. I mean, bruises a lot of SCVs. But bruising is not going to pay for... it's not going to do anything, right? They're going to mine just as much. You would think that injured SCVs would mine a little bit less.
That'd be great, right? SCVs like lose their arms. It's like, oh, I'm an SCV. I can't mine anymore.
Yeah, seriously. But a little bit slower at least,
It's just too much technical stuff.
Unbelievable.
Can you imagine if it was StarCraft too difficult?
Ugh. There is that Widowmine there blocking the potential for ShoWTimE as he's going to blink on forward and try to find this, but on the other side really is what Clem is looking for. He's always looking to distract you on one side, and on the other side he's going to be there. There is a stasis trap that slows down the Widowmine progression, which is nice. The recall should be good, but not before getting showered by that one Widowmine that was blocking the fourth, and the Colossus will die right away as a result. And there's no shield battery here either, so Clem might still look for a little bit more. That Colossus still just walking around without shields.
Yeah. Man, this is a little bit rough as we see a couple more Stalkers going down by army there quickly to just take advantage, and the Zealot's going to get hit by the Widowmines again, and Clem just back on the top. I mean, credit to ShoWTimE pulling out a defense so far, but it does feel like it's getting trickier and trickier for him.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the supply, right, it's really in favor of Clem, who is taking a faster fourth, and ShoWTimE still unable to clear the Widow Mine that would allow him to take a fourth. And that Widow Mine, I mean, it's killed a couple units, well, one unit, but it's also like bruised out the entire army to make things more difficult for ShoWTimE. A very troublesome move there from Clem, and he has map control. He has been in control of this series through and through, and it doesn't feel like enough has happened for him to have the lead that he has in this game, and yet he's just been playing that good, it feels like.
I think it's just the Stalkers, man. Stalkers, a few probes.
Yeah.
Obviously, now ShoWTimE never got the fourth base anywhere near when you want to have the fourth base online. And obviously, it's just the little things, the knock-on effect of one thing to the next, and then it's this, right?
You're absolutely right. So the trades haven't been able to be good for him as well because, you know, of that knock-on effect that you've been talking about. And now the Zealots are trying to engage this little army on the side. And Clem is saying you got to bring a little bit more. ShoWTimE does bring the Colossus over, and that's going to be enough. And Clem is going to scan forward and say, okay, you bring that much army, you mustn't have enough on this side. ShoWTimE has the perfect split as far as I'm concerned, right? He has barely enough on this side that he has the condensed army on this side, and it's as much as he can have without losing anything on the other side. The problem is it still enough? Because Clem has overwhelming numbers, it feels like.
Yeah, he really does, man. The worker lead, the army lead. Yeah, I mean, ShoWTIME's starting to get some tech up, which I'm kind of happy about, like seeing disrupts and stuff, but Clem's getting Vikings, he's getting Ghosts, right? He's keeping up in upgrades. Well, where is ShoWTIME meant to take a step back in the game? Like, yeah, his tech's nice, but Clem matches it in every way, shape, and form, and then has all the other advantages, so... Yeah, I mean, I love the splitting of the army as well, because you know ShoWTIME's struggling a little bit in terms of numbers, so splitting your army up is very difficult for ShoWTIME to then balance properly, and Clem's just been so deadly. He's never really overcommitted anywhere. This one disruptor shot is now used, which means that Clem has a little bit more freedom to attack into this place. Drops his first EMP, gets through a few Zealots. Super battery will pop, but Zealots are running out of range of the battery. Everything's starting to reinforce up north, but then you've got to split back down the bottom side because of the units that were left there before, and this is the dance that ShoWTIME just has to keep up with, and it's just so difficult.
It is so very difficult, and Clem really, he feels like two players when he controls this army. I mean, we were talking about the speed of Raynor. If there's any player that can match Raynor in that regard, it's gotta be this one. And yeah, I mean, he's gonna snipe that. I have no doubt and no reason to get excited there. That's an exposed disruptor. Trust Clem that he's never gonna allow that to go off. So now going into the main with the rest of the medevacs, gonna make it further difficult for ShoWTIME. At least he has the clip that the Colossus can walk up and blink for his Stalkers to go up. So there they are. They gotta wait for the Colossus to walk. And he will be eventually able to deflect this, but not before losing an additional 10 probes.
Yep, he's going to blink underneath. Doesn't really have the Stalkers to get a kill on a medevac, though, so I know they're just kind of pointed where this is. I was going to say, the only thing I kind of like for ShoWTIME is this army on the top is such low HP. It feels like it should just fall over if the Colossus gets to hit a bit. And we get the super battery off, so the top side's defended for the moment, but it's such a small victory in a sea of issues for ShoWTIME.
Yeah, and I mean, we could word that also differently, as in you just used your shield battery, right? So now it's gonna get a little bit harder. It's defended, yes, right now, but it also opens the door for future attacks. So Clem dropping multiple command centers, just making sure that he has this game in the bag, and for the time being, he does. ShoWTIME needs an incredible out-of-this-world engagement to bring himself back. And with that, he can't even kill his opponent whatsoever, right? If he gets the dream engagement, it's gonna be so that he can take a fifth. And from there, he needs another one so that he can take a sixth and keep expanding and keeping pace. But it is such a steep hill to climb here if you're ShoWTIME.
Yeah, another disruptor shot coming through. It really feels like Clem was on such a large army supply lead. I'm like, almost like, where is his army supply lead, though? Like, where's it at? Kind of expected to kind of see more of it. I guess this is it right now. It just feels like this was meant to happen a few moments ago. But this finally is going to be the play.